Hello, welcome to Career Conversations. I'm your host, Owen Brell.
Arnav and Owen.
And today we're here with
Jaimee Davis with Jaimee Davis Allstate.
It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Jaimee Davis. So tell us about how you got into insurance.
Sure. I ran a restaurant, as a manager there, and I just had somebody from a higher up of an insurance company. I helped them out, and they saw, what I was doing, and they said, hey, you would be perfect in this. So from that point on, I kind of talked to a couple of people, and I just kind of fell into it. It wasn't my major in college.
So what did you major in college, and how did that help you get to where you are?
Yeah, that's a great question. I majored in business administration with a minor in marketing. Probably just helping me understand the business world a little bit more. That was helpful. And then marketing and how to market that and how to market myself and market my business.
So building a career with Allstate, what first drew you to insurance? You say you kind of just fell into it. Was there any specific draws to insurance specifically rather than other things such as like real estate or other markets? What brought you to insurance?
Well, I fell into it, right? I had been kind of cherry picked by some corporate people that really liked me just meeting me out and about. So one piece of information I'll give you is network with who you want to be, not people of where you are right now or where you were in the past, right? So the more people you can get around, the better. It opens up your network, which opens up your opportunities. So that's kind of what happened to me. And they connected me with an agent, and I just started working underneath the agent, and I really enjoyed it. And then I saw a connection, and I ran his agency for 14 years. One of the passions about it is my mom died when I was 12. We didn't have any life insurance. So I'm one of 5. It was a big impact on our family. And then after I got into insurance, I started seeing if you prepare properly, how that changes your life, right? And if you don't prepare properly, how that changes the lives of the people around you. For instance, life insurance, that's the last gift you're going to give to your family. Once you get sick, you don't qualify for life insurance anymore. So that impacts everybody around you. So with that and knowing the challenges I had as a child growing up because my family didn't prepare properly, and then being able to see other families that are preparing properly and that have prepared properly and how their life turned out really just ignited my passion in that. Being able to help people and to make sure that they're covering their assets and that they understand it, right? A lot of people, it's not a sexy, fun conversation to have, but you only have to have it a couple of times to make sure you have the right coverage. You guys will work really hard, right, for what you have. The last thing you want is to have one accident or one illness wipe everything out. And that's what happens to a lot of mainstream Americans. So all of that really projected that to me. And then as I did it longer and enjoyed it, I started realizing that I wanted to make sure that there was continuity for clients, meaning that who they're comfortable working with, they continually get to work with those people, right? And I wanted to make sure that my staff was taken care of, right? That was really important to me as well. So one of those things is the agency succession plan and how that agency works or how that business works. Should I die or should I decide to retire or leave or sell my business, right? And every company is different. So I realized that if I owned the company, I could have control over that for my people, and I wanted to do that. So that is what led me ultimately to owning my own insurance agency.
And how long have you owned your insurance agency?
I've owned my own insurance agency since 2018. I started as a scratch agent. So what that means is I started out with no clients, and every single client I have today is because I've worked really hard to acquire them, to educate them, for them to choose to do business in my office.
So how do you go about finding new clients? Insurance is something, typically everyone has some form of insurance, but I feel like people typically stay with their current insurance people. How do you get new clients and get them on board with your brand specifically?
That's a great question. So for an insurance agent, because every business is different, you have to do different things. So one is you have to brand yourself. So you have to make sure that your name is known and that your business is known. So as you know, I'm really involved in our community. And I also feel like it's really important to give back, because how are they going to know how your heart is unless you give back? So I'm always giving back so that they know that any money they spend in my agency with insurance is directly going to go back to our community, right? Whether it be through taxes or whether it be through the agency giving or whatever with that. So that's one of the ways you got to brand yourself. Number 2, network. I can't tell you how important networking is, because if they know you, they like you, they trust you, they'll do business with you. And then other things is people shop online and look for things online. So I have to make sure that I have a really good online presence. So I work really hard on that as well.
On the same note as networking, as high school students and going into college in the next few years, where would you say the best places we can go to network if we're looking to find kind of our first jobs going into, corporate or business? How can a high school student or college student meet someone where they can, get into a job?
That's a wonderful question. So I would first want to know what you're interested in, right? And then you have to be proactive. You have to seek those people out in those industries. If you know somebody, that's even better, because they can get you into those industries. But for instance, I'll talk about my son. You guys know my son. He shows interest in investments. So to me, I am giving him opportunity by connecting him with different investors and people that invest. And we've been doing dinner meetings with them. So he can be familiar with the lingo and familiar with them, but also that they can be familiar with him, right? So it's about getting uncomfortable and putting yourself in those environments. Owen, you do it perfectly. I've seen you do it. I've seen you be at networking events, and you as well. And I forget your name again. I'm Arnav, you as well. Around business owners. That's really, really important. But you have to be bold. You have to go to them and say, hey, I'm really interested in your business and what you do. Can I buy you a coffee? Can I come to your office, shadow you? Can I work for you this summer for free just to learn your business? I think that is, nobody's going to say no to you on that. And if you do that, if you work for them for free or they let you shadow them for free, that's you're almost giving yourself, and if you perform, well, you're giving yourself an opportunity for that internship.
So what does that look like from your side as, now that you've gone full circle from being a student to, being the employer? What opportunities do you give students, and what stands out about it student to you? Like if you're looking at a list of, let's say, 10 students that are coming to you for job opportunities, what's going to say, this is the one I want to hire?
So what we lack today is interpersonal skills.
Like
right?
soft skills?
Soft skills. You guys are really great at technology. You're really great online. But when I get you on the phone, it's silence. I'm the one that's pulling the conversation, right? So I think a lot of employers are looking for somebody that, hey, you're really good, unless you're in an industry that you're not going to have to talk to anybody. You're really good at your tech, but you can carry on a conversation. You can be engaging in a conversation. That's what I'm looking for. And there's a lot of different skills that I find are missed now, just because we are so online, that when you're there acknowledging people when they walk in, you being the first to stand up, you carrying the conversation, you understanding, knowing. I'm most impressed by young people that come to me, that have researched me, and they can talk to things about, hey, I see you do this. That's really interesting, because that tells me that they're looking for reasons to have conversation, and there's more there.
Yeah, so my other question for you was, you say, like, you network a lot. What advice do you have for, like, younger people trying to network?
Yeah. I said it earlier, just kind of going to the people that, if you want to be in economics, you want to see, okay, what are leading economics industries here in Nashville? Who are those leading people? Can I get in touch with those leading people? Where you got to put yourself in those, you got to put yourself at that table, right? At any table that you want to be in life, whether you're graduating from college or you're going into your first job or whatever it is, even if you feel inadequate to sit at that table, you are adequate if you're sitting at it, right? So you need to network. Like, so for instance, Maddox wants to go to Belmont. That was one of the schools on his list. I know somebody who's over the student council, like his son is over the student council, so I got his phone number to give to Maddox to reach out. At that point, I stop. That is now up to my son to reach out. But that if you network, it's going to put you around them, and then you're exposed to their circle. So that benefits you. So if you're going to be exposed to somebody, you're exposed to that person's circle too. Because if they see value in you, they're going to take you and they're going to introduce you to somebody else, or just by being with them, you're going to come in contact with somebody else that could, be an asset in your life.
That's good to hear. And so something that, if you're watching this, you may not know, but Ms. Davis is involved in plenty of local organizations such as the Chamber of Commerce and actually serving as an alderman currently. So tell us about how you get involved in those things, what that does for you, and what you do for the community.
Yeah. So, I do it because I love to do it, right? I don't get paid anything additional except for my alderman position, which is very small, but the amount of time that I put into it. I do it because I love our community and I have a passion for it. So, I have a passion for the children's home here. I help out and I sit on the Tennessee Turkey Burn Committee, and that raises funds for them. I have a passion for youth with drug and alcohol problems. I sit on a board for Endeavor Youth Recoveries to help out with that. The Chamber of Commerce, I sit on several committees with them. I feel like it's really important for the small businesses to have a voice, but they also, what people don't realize is how much these organizations do for their community, right? And how it enhances the community and betters our community. So I want to be a part of that because there's no reason. And I find the more I get involved and the more work I put in to people and communities, the less you complain. The less work you put into something, the more you complain because you don't understand the back work of it, right? But after you get in it and you're starting to learn more, then you realize how much those people care and how hard they're working or why they can't do something a certain way, and you complain less.
Yeah, so since your passion drives all of this and you care for, so much for the community and the people around you, how do you find time to balance that? I mean, you're a mother, you own your own insurance agency currently, and you hold several board positions. How do you find the time to balance all of the things you do and still, keep a healthy lifestyle?
That's always a challenge for somebody. And when you say yes to something, you're always saying no to something else. So just keep that in mind, gentlemen, as you get older. So the more I say yes to one thing, then it's saying no to other things. So I have been really, really, really blessed. I feel like one of the best decisions you can make, one of the most important decisions you can make in life is who your partner in life is going to be, who your wife or your husband's going to be. They're going to support you and build you up, or they're going to tear you down, right? They're going to help you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, or it's going to go bad. So just keep that in mind. That's the biggest decision you can make, is who you're going to share your life with. They're the one that's going to influence you the most. They're the one you're going to be around. I've been extremely blessed. And I didn't know that when I was your age and when I initially started being with my husband. I mean, we've been together ever since he was 19 and I was 22. We have grown a lot together, but I could not have done this without him. So I say yes to a lot of things, which in turn makes me say no to other things. But I have a really supportive spouse, and I have a really, really great children that are there for me. So sometimes I'm not there because I'm at a planning meeting, or I'm at a board meeting a lot of times after work, or I'm at an event. But the only way I'm able to balance that is because I have a family that all contributes.
And so speaking of family, do you have any kind of looking forward, retirement plans, and how do you plan for retirement in your job? Because I know myself, I'm 17 years old right now, so I don't think that much about what I'm going to be doing, maybe 40 or 50 years down the road. But I do want to retire at some point. So how, as a young person, can I start planning for retirement so I don't feel like I have to catch up way later, 20 years down the line from now?
So that's a great question. I would definitely say at your age, start a conservator IRA. Put $50 a month in it. Put something small into it. It's not very much money. I mean, think about it. You can find somebody to do some kind of yard work or something that will pay you $50 a month. And if you start small like that and just continually invest in different things, that's going to set you up. And don't touch it, right? Don't touch it. That was a piece of advice I got from a college friend, and I didn't follow that college friend. I wish I had. So that's my advice to you all. And then don't invest in anything you don't understand. Really research it. Don't research it on TikTok. Don't research it on Snap, on X, on Google. Research it for yourself. Follow those funds. Follow those things for a while and see what you feel about it. And when you fully understand it and you feel good about it, then do it, right? But always start a conservator IRA if you can. And then the other thing is what I'm looking forward to in retirement and where I'm going with that. You know, I love doing what I do, and I'd keep my agency as long as I can. Really what I want to do is I want to be able to travel. And if keeping my agency, if I'm able to travel still and keep my agency, I have a really great staff and I could do that, then I would do that as I get older. I would like to travel the world. I have no plans of retiring unless I feel the need to. Yeah, I possibly live in different, areas of the world on different seasons and things like that. And that is my plan. I don't want to sit at home. I want to continue to be active as I age.
Good. So you talk about like kind of moving all over and seeing different parts of the world. Have you always been in Tennessee, or did you choose to move here?
Great question. I did not choose to move here. I moved here when I was 11, and I told you guys my mom died when I was 12. So we moved here when I was 11 years old, and shortly after that, my mom died, and I've been here ever since. We moved from New Jersey. So I moved here, and I've been here since I was 11 years old, and I just haven't left.
Awesome. Do you like it here?
Do you not sound like you like it here?
No, like I'm just asking because like some people don't like it here. I love it here, but like
yeah,
I talk to people and they're like,
yeah, depending. I love Tennessee. I love Tennessee. I love where I live. I'm from New Jersey. I have friends that live all over the United States. I feel like Williamson County, where we live, is a bubble, and we don't experience a lot of things that other parts of our nation experience. And we have, I feel like, more freedom and opportunity here. So yes, I do enjoy where I live. Now, would that change? It depends on where my children decide to go as they age.
And do you think Springfield is best for your business? Like, do you think your business would thrive better in another city or another country?
Well, not another country, because I can't sell Allstate in another country. I think insurance is secular, and sometimes you're on the upswing and sometimes you're on the downswing. At this point, I think we're in a really good market in Middle Tennessee because we have a lot of people moving here, as you know, as you hear all the time. People don't like people moving here. For business, for small businesses, that tends to be a good thing. We're growing in this area, so that's a healthy thing to grow. I wouldn't want to be in an area that is not growing at all, because then that means, or is regressing, because then that means that's not a good place to have a business. So right now, I feel like, this is a great area. Are there other areas in the United States that are equally as beneficial? Yes, to have it. But I like Tennessee, so that's where I'm going to stay.
Got it. So we've talked a lot about planning, thinking ahead in the future. What is kind of the next, 5 years look like for you? Do you have any plans of expanding currently where you are with Allstate, or what is just next 5-year plan for you and looking past that as well?
Yeah. I want to expand my office. So I want to continue to grow and to employ more people. So that's a plan for me. I would like to expand my other endeavors. So I'm looking into that. I always feel like it's good to have several buckets, not just one bucket. And you said the next 5 years. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And then, just to really set myself up so I can do what I want to do, which is travel.
Yeah. And as we get towards the end of our time here, what's some advice, you have a son our age, what's some advice you give to people, high school age kids, looking forward to the future? What's the biggest thing you'd leave someone with, thinking back to yourself when you were 17 or 18? What's something that you would have needed to hear that would have set you so much further ahead?
Can I give you a couple of things instead of just one?
Absolutely. We have time.
Okay. I have a laundry list. One is investing. Go ahead and start investing now and learn how every time you get paid to pay yourself first, meaning put some in savings and put some in investment. It's going to set you up, and you don't realize through your 20s, you'll be in a different place when all your friends are partying at college and everything and not doing that versus where you'll be at the end of your 20s versus they'll be at the end of their 20s, right? So go ahead and start investing. Always, before you marry anybody, live by yourself, not with a roommate, by yourself. Pay every single bill by yourself. So you can do it alone, right? Then I would say one of the things, college isn't necessary to be successful in life. Hustle's necessary and drive is necessary because you can go to college and get every degree you want, but if you have no hustle or drive, you're not going anywhere. Imagine how many people have degrees, but they don't have a hustle and drive they just don't have it. You got to have that hustle and drive. My next thing is if you're going to go to college, make it really specific of what you're going to college for. Even if you do something different, anybody can go be a business major. Not anybody can go to school and, a degree in, a CPA, you have to go back to it, or nursing, you have to go back to get that. You can't just run in and get a job as but you can open a business. You can do insurance regardless if you go to college or not, right? You can do marketing regardless if you go to college or not. So keep that in mind. But if you have business acumen and you know the trades, because the trades are going down, which when I say the trades are going down, what I mean by that is for so many people that retire out of the trades, only one person goes in. That's something that to keep an eye out on AI, because AI is coming and you guys are familiar with AI, but AI is going to be able to help businesses do things more efficiently. It will never fully remove a person, but it will cut down on the people needed. So if you're going into a business that could be eventually taken over by AI, you might want to rethink that. A plumber can never be taken over by AI. If you show up and you have hustle, eventually you could probably make more than that other person because you can start your own business, right? So just keep that in mind when you're planning. And the last piece of information I'm going to give you is make sure that when you are deciding who your spouse is going to be, when you're ready to do that, you want to look at a lot of different things about them because that's the person, if you're marrying the right way, that's the person you're going to be with for the rest of your life. That's the person that is going to either help you or hinder you in your life. They're going to influence you in your life because they're the one you're around the most. So really, really, really keep an eye out and see where their projections are going and what their goals are. Interview them, because that is going to be such a pivotal point in your life. And you don't want a divorce. Why don't you want a divorce? Because it's going to financially, it's extremely expensive, and you have to kind of start over. I've never had a divorce, but I do know statistically. So you want to set yourself up. Things happen all the time, but you want to set yourself up correctly. And if you're with the right person, your life is going to be leaps and bounds. If you guys are on the same trajectory and goals in life, it's going to be a much easier life than if you marry somebody and they want to parent a totally different way than you, or they don't have your hustle and drive, or they see their life differently than you do. So that's important to have those conversations before you say I do.
Awesome. I really appreciate your feedback and as a student hearing about networking and picking the right people to surround yourself with and more passage college. That's such a big thing now too. So many people think college is still the right way. There is so many options. I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much for your time today.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching this episode of Future Forward. Check out our other profiles on Instagram and YouTube. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.